Emotional attachment can sometimes feel like a heavy burden, leaving us feeling trapped and unable to break free. It can create a cycle of dependency that feels unending, but the truth is that change is possible, and the ability to detach is within our grasp. By drawing from the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, we can find practical guidance to free ourselves from emotional entanglements. Stoicism teaches us that detachment is not about becoming cold or indifferent. Instead, it's about assigning the right importance to things beyond our control. In doing so, we reclaim the power over our own emotions and lives. Imagine your emotions as a kite, with each string tied to something or someone you care about. If you hold on to these strings too tightly, you're at the mercy of the wind, constantly being pulled in every direction. Stoicism reminds us to loosen our grip, to recognize that while we can't control the wind, we can choose which strings to hold and how tightly to hold them. This shift doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you find balance. The process begins with identifying who or what you're overly attached to and asking yourself why. Is it about seeking validation, or is it driven by fear of loneliness? Understanding the root of your attachment is key to loosening its hold. From there, it's crucial to engage in activities that bring you fulfillment, giving your life purpose beyond the attachment. Detaching in this way is liberating. It allows you to see life from a broader perspective, unburdened by the weight of emotional dependence. When we think about attachment, it's important to understand that it often stems from the ego. At our core, we are beings of love, much like a newborn baby who radiates joy without the complexities of ego-driven desires. As we grow older, however, the ego takes control, filling our lives with attachments to people, ideals, and outcomes. These attachments cloud our judgment, preventing us from living authentically. The ego convinces us that we need these attachments for validation, but in reality, they serve only to anchor us in place, hindering our ability to grow. To free ourselves, we must strip away the ego's illusions and reconnect with our essence. Living from a place of love instead of ego means trusting in abundance and believing that what is meant for us will come. It's not wishful thinking, it's about recognizing our intrinsic value and letting go of the fear of loss. This shift allows us to release attachments without feeling diminished, as we come to understand that our worth is not tied to external things or people. Letting go becomes an act of love, not indifference. When we untangle ourselves from these attachments, we find ourselves lighter, more open to new experiences, and ready to embrace life with clarity and purpose. At the heart of emotional attachment is the illusion created by the ego, which tells us we're not good enough on our own. It convinces us that someone else's life is better, leading us to cling to others for validation. This mindset often leads to idolizing others, placing them on pedestals, and believing they possess something unattainable. Yet, when we strip away the layers of ego, we see that no one is inherently better or more deserving. We're all equally vulnerable, equally human. The illusion of the ego distorts our view of ourselves and others, but confronting it head-on reveals the truth: we are enough as we are. Building self-confidence and healing from within is essential. It's important to remind yourself that you are special and unique, but this shouldn't lead to separating yourself from others. Instead, it's about recognizing that we're all connected, and no one's path is superior to another's. This realization brings a sense of peace and equality, allowing us to detach from relationships in a healthy way. Detachment doesn't mean denying your feelings or becoming indifferent. It means embracing the abundance of life and recognizing that your completeness doesn't depend on anyone else. This understanding empowers you to love without clinging, freeing you from the fear of loss and scarcity. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our perceptions, actions, and will. Applying this to relationships allows us to detach from the need for others to fulfill us, cultivating emotional resilience and inner peace. The practical application of detachment is perhaps the hardest part. It requires a willingness to let go of the past experiences, past relationships, and the comfort they brought. Holding on to these things is like gripping a rope so tightly that it hurts, but the fear of letting go keeps you stuck. Yet, letting go doesn't mean you'll fall. In fact, it can free your hands to reach out for something better. This is a lesson that often comes through personal experience, as many of us hold on to relationships because they feel safe, not realizing that we're closing the door on new possibilities. Fear of missing out, FOMO, can also play a significant role in our reluctance to let go. Social media, in particular, amplifies this feeling, as we watch others live their seemingly perfect lives and wonder if we're falling behind. But social media presents only a filtered version of reality, designed to highlight the best moments. Once you stop comparing your life to these curated snapshots and start focusing on living your own life, FOMO loses its grip. You realize that not knowing every detail of someone else's life doesn't mean you're missing out. It means you're present in your own life, creating memories that are meaningful to you. Attachment to a false image of happiness is a powerful obstacle to detachment. When we see others living their best lives, it's easy to feel like we'll never have what they have, but this mindset is based on illusion. From a distance, the grass may look greener on the other side, but up close, you'll see that it has its imperfections too. Detachment isn't about giving up on happiness, it's about defining it on your own terms. By focusing on what's within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your growth, you regain power over your life. You stop allowing external factors, like other people's lives or opinions, to define your worth or happiness. This realization is empowering, providing you with the armor to move forward unburdened by unnecessary attachments. True happiness and emotional freedom come from within, and the path to these begins with understanding where true value lies. Often, we place too much importance on others' presence in our lives, thinking that their approval or attention will bring us happiness. But in reality, the most profound and lasting companionship we can have is the one we cultivate with ourselves. Your character, your wisdom, and how you treat others are the true sources of value in life. External validation may feel good in the moment, but it chains you to the whims of others, keeping you from realizing your full potential. Like a bird that believes it needs permission to fly, you might be limiting your own emotional freedom. Imagine realizing that the sky has always been open for you, and all you need to do is spread your wings. This shift in perspective is liberating. It teaches us that our value is not determined by others' opinions or by who is or isn't in our lives. Detachment, therefore, isn't about pushing people away, it's about drawing closer to ourselves. By focusing on self-improvement and growth, we cultivate a garden within that flourishes regardless of who chooses to walk through it. This inner nurturing becomes a source of happiness that is independent and resilient. So, how do you walk the path of emotional detachment? It starts with realizing that you are whole, with or without anyone else's affirmation. Your journey is about discovering the vastness of your own potential and learning to love the freedom that comes with self-reliance. Stoicism's teachings guide us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and growth. This doesn't mean shutting ourselves off from love or connection, but rather anchoring ourselves in the steady ground of our own being. Your self-worth isn't a puzzle missing someone else's piece, it's a masterpiece in progress, complete on its own yet open to the beauty the world has to offer. As we grow, we learn that letting go is not the end but the beginning of something greater,